Hello, everybody. This is the Moon Mama, and this is my first recording that I'm doing of Ascension Moment. And I want to talk a little bit about the year 2015, but needing to go back just a little bit to the past years. I saw this video that my sister sent to me, and the video is called Energy Update Ascension 2015 with a guy named Matt Kahn from TrueDivineNature.com. And at first, I was listening to it and listening to the first couple of minutes, and I was thinking, who is this guy? And it reminded me of how when you're writing a book or a paper, how the first, couple paragraphs, it takes you a while to find that rhythm of what you're saying, and then once you do, you kind of lock into the story. And so I highly recommend that people, after they listen to this, go out and listen to his video on YouTube, because it's really profound, but it really touched on a lot of things. I've been talking with others, and having these confirmations of, other healers and just people who are highly, conscious people who have been seeking and who have really been anchors in the healing consciousness, have been going through a lot in the last, easily the last 5 years. And it almost seems, the last couple of years have been really tumultuous for a lot of healers, including myself. And me doing this work in healing has helped me to see that I'm not alone in this, that there are a lot of people like me out there that are kind of feeling like they're misfits out there, feeling as though they're going through life and things are slowly, being modified to where they're asking, who am I? Because all the old patterns of the things that we were or that we used to do seem to be gone. And we've no longer been able to kind of identify ourselves by the work that we're doing. Almost that feeling of being like a misfit, that you don't quite fit in. And most of us who are healers have always felt that way in the ways of the world, but it almost seems like it took a step further in the last couple of years, where it even became difficult to find work to make a living and to figure out what can you do to make a living that also is that is in alignment with who you are as a person. It's a change that's been very uncomfortable, and through listening to this video, it became really apparent that the reason that all of this has been happening is because we've been purged out of our old belief systems, and we've been getting this purging in a concentrated way so that we could end all these old belief systems and contracts, to be able to meet the year 2015 in a way that focuses completely on abundance. It focuses completely on the sharing of ourselves with other people. It will focus on our connection with other human beings, less on, the modalities in which we've had these tools in which we've connected with other people. Perhaps like, for instance, for healers, we may have been skilled in these certain modalities, and that is the way in which we've ushered in our healing. But the face of healing has been changing over the course of the last several years, and I've noticed in my own private practice that people became less and less interested in the old modalities in which I used to usher that healing in, because the conscious level has raised. It's becoming more about the human connection and the sharing through talking to other people by touching their lives, and not necessarily through a body work or through some sort of physical thing where they come in and lay on a table. And that sort of thing will always exist, because there will always be people who need that. But I'm finding with the people that have been teachers for a very long time and who have acted as anchors in the healing, and in elevating the consciousness level of other human beings in a more massive type of way, that they have felt misplaced for a good last 5 years steadily. If you talk to most people who are highly conscious, they will tell you that it seems like about 5 years ago the change slowly started to happen, and really in the last 3 years has been very noticeable. In the last year, it has been very uncomfortable for a lot of healers, because all of a sudden we needed to make a new definition of ourselves. So the good news is that we have to understand that the purging that's been happening in our life, every act, every behavior, good or bad, has been an ending of a contract. It has been a purging of the old self. And the feeling of being misplaced has caused us to let go of our old ideas of who we are. It no longer matters, what's your name and your identity, what is, your job and your identity. All of those things don't matter, because all that matters is the channel of connection that we have with each other and the direction that we're ascending to. And we do this wonderful ascension and connecting with other people and sharing that creates this new world that we live in. It isn't about fighting against, the things that we see going wrong in the world. It's about individually raising consciousness with each other, sharing of knowledge, nurturing knowledge and awareness. When organically people come to you and they're drawn to you and they want to know things to share. But it's also about letting down our old guards, our old fears and belief systems, so that we can once again share of our energy and of our heart and all those things in life that make life beautiful, which is the human connection with other people. Now, I myself have found that this very last, down to the last couple of months, my life has drastically changed to where, I felt isolated and I felt directionless, and I was feeling a lot of the sadness and other things in my life, because it just felt very misplaced. Like I didn't know what my value, I always knew my value, but I didn't know where to fit that in to the world. And especially when it has to do with, making a living, you begin to compare yourself to where you fit in with the world, and the world has its own value system. So there's a bit of awakening there, where you have to realize that your value is all about what's inside of you. The world may have a completely different idea of what your worth is, because it may be judging it on how much money you make, what your title is, your place in the economic world. But none of those things have proven to make anyone happy or enlightened. And the good news is that the struggle that we've had financially and spiritually is coming to a close, because we have condensed our purging and our letting go into such a short period of time that it's been very difficult and hard on our lives. But come 2015, the door of all of that is closing. The emerging of the human connection and the human spirit and the human soul, and sharing of our lives and sharing of our knowledge collectively, is increasing. And that is going to create abundance for all of those who've been experiencing the complete opposite. Now all of those things that are meant to be are going to be coming into fruition. And one of the things that was really interesting that was said was that, oftentimes, especially maybe over the last couple of years, we've been really pursuing these things to make things happen for ourselves. And it seemed like no matter what we were doing, there was a closed door in our face all the time. Because many times we want things but we want them at the wrong time. And we want them so badly, we're desiring them, but the universe knows that it will only act as a barrier for us to reach where we needed to reach right now before the year 2015. It would have only created an obstacle in our consciousness and in our awareness and spirituality. So those things that we've been desiring have not occurred. We tend to get the things that we wanted at the different time where we have stopped desiring to want it so badly, with that kind of aching. And that seems pretty classic, that people want things. They want things and they have this aching in their bones to have it. And then it doesn't happen. And these are what we usually call as broken dreams, dreams that didn't come true. But then we find that when we go on with our life and we learn from that, and then many, many more things that we end up learning from future experiences that we have, that the things that we wanted tend to cycle back to us when that aching is gone, because we've done the conscious work to let go of those desires for the worldly things, and we've focused more on the soul work. And because we've done the soul work, those things tend to come back around. So it isn't ever that the universe is saying, no, you can't have it, but the universe is intelligent. Energy is intelligent. And that's what the universe is. And the universe is saying it's not the right time for that, because it's only going to act as an obstacle for you to get where you need to go spiritually, emotionally, consciously. And so it brought me a lot of comfort to know, he said that we've been like the bad news bears, the misfits, but the misfits are the ones who've been misplaced and not really fit into the world in the healing consciousness. These are the ones that are emerging as the leaders, and the leaders will act as anchors. The thing that we've been going through with all of our suffering in the last year is being called an incubation period. So we have been going through this incubation, clearing out all these old contracts, all these old burdens and fears and belief systems, and it's been hard and it's been painful. And it's caused us to doubt ourselves and who we are and the direction of our life. But all of those things were meant to be to get us to where we are now, where we can move on without needing to compare ourselves, without needing to have these solid belief systems, so that we can move forward and stop trying to identify with things and with titles, and start identifying who we are as human beings in a collective of other human beings. And that's why I said earlier, it doesn't matter the name you're using, your nickname, your real name, your job, your title, all of those things that would define who we are and separate us don't matter. What matters is that we are opening ourselves up to sharing of ourselves, of our souls, of our knowledge that will help other people also let go of all of these identities and just become the person who is engaged with other human beings who are looking at the beauty of life and ascending. And that is the message that I wanted to share with everybody who listens, to understand that what's coming in this 2015, if you've been enduring this incubation period, understand that everything that you are doing and have done has all been in the right direction. So you haven't made any mistakes. You may have been impulsive, you may have felt you took wrong turns and that it affected you poorly. Just understand that it doesn't matter, because everything that you have done has been part of closing old contracts. And come 2015, we are beginning a new phase of ascension, and that's what we need to stay focused on, because it's becoming about sharing of ourselves, and that includes our knowledge and our awareness with other human beings, and letting go of belief systems, differences, just being who you are. And that means the good, bad, and the ugly, because this ascension is about becoming who you are and showing up at the door as who you are. And that means all parts of who you are without any shame. You don't have to be this person in a robe. You can come, I like one of the parts that he says is, you could have your hands up to the sky as if in praise, and you can also have middle fingers up to the sky with your, skepticism. It doesn't matter, because all of that is closing of contracts. It's all getting rid of all the things that you need to get rid of, and some of that may be skepticism, and you will continue through the door as you are into the ascension and continue to move up. But we will do so in connecting with other human beings. One other thing that I want to say is that we can get caught up in our life in fighting against things, because we see a lot of the badness going on in the world, and we feel like we need to fight against these big companies and do all these wars against this and wars against that, and meet and gather and fight against. And one of the things that the law of attraction has taught us is that when we fight against something, it only adds energy to it. And so the key is, and it is in alignment with 2015 Ascension, which is not to fight against things, but to invest in the things that you love, the things that you want to see more of. You invest in them. The world will always be swayed towards money, and they will back any winning horse, whether it's for the good of mankind or the bad of mankind. So politically, if we feel like we need to make change, it's not to say don't do anything. It's saying make change that way. Make change individually by putting your money into things that matter to you, and support those things that are going in the direction that you feel nurtures Mother Earth and humanity. Focus less on fighting against the bad guys. Put your money where you really want to see change happen, because the world and the big companies out there, they follow where the dollar is. They back the winning horse. And we're already seeing that in how people will follow. We're seeing, we lost the vote here in California to have things labeled non-GMO. We fought against the big companies and we lost. And what we're seeing now, over since that big loss and disappointment, we saw a lot of companies continue to label regardless of winning. And that was because people just said, I'm not buying these other products then. And when we see that we put our money towards the things that matter to us, that are doing good in the world pays attention, and the world being the world leaders and the people who have the big companies, they will put their money in the things that people are investing in. So make change through individual change, through knowledge and sharing your knowledge. Don't get caught up in the big belief systems. Simply know what you want to see, and then be that change for yourself, and share how others can be that change through your community and other people that you talk to on a daily basis, and community work and that sort of thing. Support instead of fighting against the other things, because it's only another trap that will keep you from ascending. So that's all I had to say for today. This is my very first Ascension moment, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And please feel free to go to the website, harlowmoonreadings.com, and go to the contact page or the podcast page, whichever you'd like to do. And if you have anything that you want to ask, or something that you have a question for me directly where I'll answer it and talk a little bit about it, please do share your comments and your questions with me on the website, again at readings.com. This is the Moon Mama signing out. Have a great day, and remember, be love.